What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video. We are back at it for another island adventure. Going to be exploring a beautiful barrier island that is remote, untouched by humans, and it's going to be a blast. We're going to be doing some fishing, looking for wildlife. I finally managed to remember to bring my camera battery. We've got everything all loaded up in the kayak here, and it's just going to be a great day. So you guys stay tuned. I know you're going to like it. So it's going to be about an hour paddle, and we just have a great sunny day. So I'm going to take my time with it, and we're gonna try to do some sight fishing on the way out. The tide's coming in right now, so we still have a little bit of time until the water reaches the grass, which means the fish should still be along the main banks of the bigger creek system. So hopefully we'll find some schooling redfish. That would be sweet. Just take a look at that water clarity. It's really impressive to see just how clear we have it here in the winter. Okay, look at this. So, we got a nice piling in our way. I'm gonna step off to the side a little bit, but we've got our nice microphone right here. Look at me getting all technologically advanced. It might be completely offsetting, I don't really know, but hopefully the audio is not atrocious, and if it is, I'm sorry. But we're here, I'm all layered up. It's kind of chilly out, the sun's really strong, and I'm about as wet as they come, so I could easily get burned in like 35-degree weather, but that's besides. I don't know what I'm saying, bro. We've got a beautiful island to explore, and we're just gonna get to it. It's an awesome day. I'm excited. Hope you guys are too. Let's roll. Okay, guys, so I don't want to scare them away. So I'm gonna start off by getting a shot that's not the best. Oh, I scared them away. But that was a great egret. Dang it. Okay, we scared them away, but there might be some more birds to see here. Let's just be stealthy. Oh yeah, wood stork. Absolutely beautiful bird. I know they might not look like the prettiest, but in my opinion, they're gorgeous just because of how they're designed. I mean, you can't tell me dinosaurs did not walk this earth after taking a good look at that thing. So that right there is a wood stork. Incredible. Oh yeah, thanks, dude. That's a great way to present yourself. That's funny. Goofy bird, bro. Wood stork, there's our first bird species. Oh, there he goes. But that was our first bird species of the day. Let's just kind of see, like, let's keep a tally. Let's keep a tally of how many different birds we can find and animals in general. Okay, I found our second bird of the day. Well, there's some hooded mergansers, that's what you're hearing. But that right there is a tricolored heron. And there's actually two of them. I'll show you guys the second one in a minute, but he's just up high right now. Probably just because he likes to look around and make sure he can see everything around him, so there's no bobcats or raccoons trying to sneak up on him. And there's another one that's in the water right next to him that I'll show you guys too. That's actually feeding, so let's pan down to that little dude. He is just kind of enjoying himself right now, grooming himself, maybe has a full belly already. But these are some of my favorite birds. They're a smaller heron species. You guys are probably familiar with the great blue heron. These ones are significantly smaller than those. They're probably more of like a little blue heron size, I would say, maybe slightly larger than the little blues, but they're very impressive birds. Just take a look at those colors on them. But that's two bird species. I'm not good at identifying songbirds and shorebirds, but I'm gonna try to film as many as I can and identify them and get back to you guys. But I do know my herons and egrets pretty well. And maybe we'll find some of those hooded mergansers. I think those guys may have already scooted off though. They were out of here when they saw me, but lots of ducks this time of year. It's just winter time, means lots of migratory species. All right, we'll keep moving. Right here we've got some egrets and a tricolored heron. Tricolored heron just spooked off and now they're aware of me. There is, yeah, I think these are all snowy egrets from what it looks like. Juvenile little blue herons look exactly like a snowy egret, but there's just a few differences with the colors of their legs and their face. But these guys are looking like snowies to me, all snowy egrets. And they're just chilling on that log. Doesn't really look like they're feeding. I think they're just relaxing, taking it easy, stretching it out. Very entertaining birds to watch. They have so much sass. They're just funny. But right now they seem to be cooperating. No conflict at the moment. But when food starts moving in, they'll start squawking at each other, pecking at each other. Man, they're funny. These guys are probably a good 15 feet above the ground. A lot of people associate these wading birds with just staying on the ground, but no, they actually will nest in the trees and spend almost just as much time up in the trees as they do in the water. Still haven't seen an alligator yet. I really think we will see one today. It's supposed to warm up. It's one of those weird days where there's a low of like 30 degrees, but a high of 60. So there's a 30-degree difference between the high and the low today. And as it warms up, we'll probably see some alligators. They're chill. They're just like a vibe. I don't know how to describe it. Just do their own thing. They're always like the last bird to get spooked by you too. They're just unbothered. Look at this little dude right here. Some type of shorebird. Never been good with these guys. Whether it's a sanderling or some type of sandpiper. Not so sure. They're so hard to identify. But he's just nibbling on the algae and other little microorganisms that are growing on this drain. Two roads diverge in a barrier island. Which one is the path less traveled? I don't really know, but one of the ways is over here and one of the ways is over there. I've been on this one quite a few times, so let's take this path. That's my thought process. That's less traveled, you know? Call me Robert Frost. Okay, this is the final stretch. We've got the, oh, man, I just messed up. This is the, third time's the charm. This is the final stretch right here. We've got our first look at the open Atlantic Ocean. This path will take us out to the beach. You can see just that transition from all of these pine trees and live oaks to smaller shrubbery and the cabbage palmettos. And as we get closer, we're just gonna start seeing a bunch of dead stuff. Now we have transitioned from the maritime forest back onto the beach, and we're gonna spend a little more time exploring the boneyard. There's a lot to see out this way, and it's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be just a spectacular sight. There's nothing quite as dynamic and striking as a boneyard beach. When it comes to landscape and geography, it feels like something out of a movie. It's very artistic and rugged. Yeah, now I gotta walk back to the camera after getting that shot. Just take a gander at the beauty. I don't even know if I'm on right now. This right here, oh my God, that was way too fast. This right here is the boneyard beach. I got it on the tripod still. I'm being lazy. Should probably take it off and use my hands, so sorry if it's a little unstable, but just to give you all a perspective. Ain't that something? Gorgeous, man. We have a stunning beach all to ourselves. So that was the very beginning that I just showed you. This is closer to the inlet, so there's not as much boneyard, but just beautiful beach. Take a look at this big old structure right here. So that's actually a German U-boat lookout tower from World War II, which is crazy. I mean, there's 500 of those that were built up and down the East Coast at one point, and now there's only a few that are standing. They're not used for anything. They're just pretty much a navigational aid. So if you're out in the ocean and you see that big old lookout tower, you know where you are. We made it. We're here at the boneyard. It's a great place to be. It's a beautiful place to be. But I want to look for little critters, you know? All these little tidal pools. I mean, there's not a lot of tidal pools right now. It's a high tide, but these little trees, and there's a little creek system that heads up this way. We might find some starfish. We might find some clams, mussels, all that exciting stuff. I know you're thrilled. Walking around, trying to find the source of the invertebrates. I'm seeing tons of shells. things like little cockle. Oh boy, what we got here? I'll show y'all in a second. It's dead, so it's kind of sad, but. So, what's that called? Maybe a lined sea star? There's a few types. I'll have to get back to you. But yeah, that's the remnants of what once was some sort of sea star. I know for a fact it's not a Forbes sea star. I want to say that's called a lined sea star, maybe? Don't quote me on that. I'll put it up on the screen for you. That's a Forbes sea star right there. I'll go grab some underwater footage of these fellas for you, because I know you're going to want to see them. This is something that you've probably come across, and I'm referring to the Charleston, the Carolina, like that general place, Low Country, Carolinas, that sort of deal. And so many people want to call this a conch, and if you think it's a conch, I kind of want to slap you. No, I'm just kidding. It's a common mistake, but we actually don't have any conchs in the Carolinas. What we have are whelks. The difference between a conch and a whelk is conchs are like cows. They're herbivores and they eat seagrasses. So what does seagrass require? It requires a warm environment and clear water. What we have is cold water in the winters, and our water is not clear during the summers because we have tons of phytoplankton in the water and sediment and stuff that sunlight can't really penetrate through quite as efficiently to get to the bottom so seagrass can grow and photosynthesize. So therefore, no seagrass. Animals that depend on the seagrass are not going to be around here, like the conch. So no conchs in the Carolinas. This whelk is like a wolf. It's a carnivore. It's going to be out here catching and eating other animals. The catching part's not that hard because a lot of what it eats are things that don't move, bivalves, oysters, mussels, and clams. So when the whelk is alive, it is a big sea snail. Conchs are also sea snails. And the whelk has this plate on its stomach foot. They're called gastropods, and gastro means stomach, pod means foot, so literally stomach foot. It has this plate that it uses to kind of shut itself away from predators, and it also uses it as a prying tool for opening up the oysters, mussels, and clams. It also has this edge right here that can help out with that. So it's got a couple tools to its advantage, and it's just gonna open up those animals, and once it has them open, this is a snail's pace, so 2 days, 3 days, sometimes up to a week. It can take a very long time for them to get into that animal. But when they have it open, they're gonna crawl on top of it, and they're literally shooting their stomach contents into that animal. Shooting's kind of an exaggeration, more just slowly releasing their stomach contents into that soft, vulnerable mollusk, and then they're just gonna eat that thing right up. And obviously this one's dead. This is a skeleton that you're looking at. It's got some barnacles growing on it. This one is a knobbed whelk because it has all the knobs on it. And when you're facing it and it's facing towards you, it's gonna open up on the right side. Whereas a lightning whelk would look exactly like this, but it opens up on the left side. And there's another one called a channeled whelk that does not have any of these knobs, and it opens up on the right side. I'll point those out if we find them. Lightning whelks are kind of rare, and this knobbed whelk is by far the most common of the whelks. There's also a horse conch, which is confusing because it's not a conch. We do have them here. They're a type of tulip snail, which is similar to whelks, but not a conch. There's all kinds of different banded tulip snails. There's a pear whelk, and there's moon snails. I mean, there's lots of sea snails that are almost all carnivorous around here. But this guy is not a conch. This is a whelk, W-H-E-L-K. This whole time you've been on the edge of your seat just waiting for me to talk about clams. And I'm gonna talk to you about a couple of the very common ones. There are so many different species that I don't know, but these two are definitely the most common, I would say. So you'll notice the size difference. Ignore that. That's really not something that is common. The cockle clams are usually a little bit bigger, but it's usually not this drastic of a difference. So what I want to point out is really the shape of these things. And I'm going to try to make sure I'm not giving y'all a freaking crotch shot. So that right there is the art clam. No, I'm lying to you. This right here is the cockle clam. And I know it's a cockle clam because of its shape. Take a look here. You can kind of see a continuous curve right here, and they're not as wide as the art clams. So there's your cockle. And here is the art clam. This art clam is significantly wider in proportion to the cockle. And then also, if you turn it around, you see that hinge. It's straight on the hinge. No continuous curve. You're gonna get this straight line at the hinge. So we've got all kinds of little shorebirds just hanging out on this sandbar. I'm so bad at shorebird identification, especially with the sandpipers, because they're so similar, but there's these minute differences that completely change the species. So yeah, we're just gonna call them little birds, little dudes. Thumbnail has been obtained. I think it went pretty good. You know, had to look super mysterious and exploratory. I think we did it. I think we checked off the boxes for a solid thumbnail. This place is just so cool because you see the creek and all of the different shrubbery. You get the maritime forest. You've got the palmettos right before you get out to the beach. So I think it well represents kind of the whole island in one shot. This is the boneyard that you are looking at. A bunch of dead trees on the beach. And I've talked about this place before in my last video, but if you missed it, I'm gonna tell you every detail again because it's really cool. So the reason why we have this beautiful place is because of a natural process called sea level rise that's been happening for the past 5,000 years since the last glaciation. Now, of course, in the last 50 or so years, if not more, 100 or so years, we've seen an acceleration of that process with human interference with the greenhouse gases. All of these trees are from the maritime forest. They cannot tolerate living in any salt water. So whenever that sea level rises and encroaches on them, it's gonna kill them. And the salt also petrifies them, and it makes them look like these whale bones because they're so well preserved, or dinosaur bones, or some sort of sea monster skeleton. That's where it gets its name, the Boneyard Beach. And the sun's gonna bleach them out, so most of these trees kind of turn into a light brown or even white, like a bone. We're standing on the front of the island right now on the beach, but you go back a few hundred years ago, this could have been the back of the island and the rest of it would have extended out that way. We've just seen everything moving inland. I just found a rare shell. So I'm gonna get you guys a better look at this, but that is actually an ocean murex. So kind of a deeper water snail usually. And man, that's actually a very cool find. Haven't found one of these in a very long time. So here it is, that murex I was talking about. Beautiful, isn't it? This one's kind of beat up, but take a look at all of those knobs that just go up and down the whole thing. It's so neat. Very cool shell. But it's not leaving this island, it's staying here where it belongs. Super cool. Look at that thing, man. That was a big boy. Big, big, big horseshoe crab. Everybody loves these guys. These are sand dollars. Well, that's what everyone calls them, but they're actually a type of urchin or an echinoderm. So this is what they looked like when they're alive. I mean, this one's dead, of course, but you can see all the fuzziness on it. So that's what the organism is like when it's alive, and it uses those little arms to dig around, move around, catch its own prey. It is so beautiful, but we got a little bit of clouds kind of coming in. It's not supposed to rain, but it's making me a little bit, it might sprinkle, and I don't have any waterproof gear on me, so that would be tragic if the cameras got wet. I'm also gonna take a bunch of pictures of some plants on the way back because I wanna find out what kind of plants these are. Man, what the hell are these? They're fucking, they got beans and So we've made it out of the main maritime forest and kind of back in that shrubbery now. We're gonna get close to those saltwater ponds again. I'm gonna keep my eyes out. I think I might try a couple casts on the connection with the outgoing tide, see if we can catch a redfish or something. And then we might fish a little bit on the way back in the kayak. I'm not so sure though. I'm kind of disappointed right now because my GoPro batteries are just getting down to like 40% and then dying. So I'm not sure if that's an issue with the camera or the batteries or what. I know both of them are old and have been used a lot. So it might be time for a gear upgrade, but yep, we're just gonna keep going, keep trucking. Nothing. I think it's that simple. I think they're just not here today. Sometimes they're here, sometimes they're not. Nope, here we go. Never mind, got one. On the artificial. Oh gosh. Ah! Oh boy, oh boy. Reel, 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 reel. Yes, don't know if he's still on there. He's still on there. It's not a small one either. It's a slot fish probably. Dang. Am I recording? I am. Okay. We are recording. Oh man, that's a nice fish. Come on now. Not a bad one. Not a bad one. Let's see. Try to give him the flip. He's probably around a 2.5, 3 pounder. Come on. Flip up here, boy. Yeah. Slot fish, man. It's probably right around 20 inches. Ooh, he's gonna be a little bit dirty, but. You see him? There he is. Awesome. Let's get you unhooked and get you back in, dude. Okay, you're unhooked. And you are released. Took off. Nice. Got a fish. We got a fish. Thank you guys so much for watching that video. I really appreciate it. It's nice to be able to get out and just take the time to appreciate everything around me nature-wise. It's so easy to get wrapped up in fishing, and there's a lot of stuff out here that's honestly just as cool as any fish that you'd catch, and a lot of things that you wouldn't expect to even exist unless you just came outside and opened your eyes for a little bit.